Hey Vase, it is Thursday, and I am going to be talking about something that really hit home for me. Something that really challenged me, and something that really made me feel like I was going crazy. Literally going crazy. And I haven't talked about it because I didn't want anybody to judge me, or I didn't want anybody to know that exactly what was going on. But because I trust God, I'm going to let you know how this last few months have been for me. I mean, ideally, everything has looked okay on social media, but I've been dealing with some things and I'm ready to let you know. So, October of 2018, I received this job at this great company, and I was making great money, and it was just like an incredible experience. So, I took a test, and the first time I took the test, I got a 73%. So, I was supposed to get a 75. So, I was like extremely bummed. I remember like Javier came home and brought me like all these type of goodies because I was just like, why did I not like pass this test? Like I was doing so good, like I knew that I was capable of passing this test. Like I really studied. Like why didn't I pass this test? So I was like, okay, whatever. So they were like, still come in to work on Monday. So I go into work on Monday and everything is cool. I'm still working, making money, whatever. Like everything is just fine. So that happens. And then, so of course, I have to take the test again in 30 days. So I take the test again. So this time I took the test in December. And I was like so confident. Like I knew I was going to do well. I knew that this was just gonna be it. Like I just predicted I was gonna get like an 85. Like I was just so persistent with testing at home and Javier quizzing me, and me quizzing people at work and people quizzing me. So I just knew that I was gonna get like an 85. Like I just knew I was not about to fail this test. So on the Saturday morning, I go and take the test. And I'm taking the test. I'm like, oh, I know this, I know this, I know this. I'm thinking it's going great. I get done with the test, and it says a 65. And I was like, are you serious? Like, are you really, really, really serious? And I was just like, you know what? I'm not even going to cry. Like, I'm not even going to cry. So I called Javier when I got in the car, and he's like, well, how did you do? And I was like, I didn't do good. I was like, I got a 65. He was like, you got a 65? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, maybe God didn't want you to have this job, or maybe it just wasn't meant to be. So at that particular time, because I got a 65, I was like separated from the company. So like I could have went to like the sister company, or I could have like applied again, took the test again in 30 days. So I came home and I just was not myself. Like I wasn't. And so this was around Christmas time. So this was December 21st. And I still had to get like a few more gifts. And I'm like, do I be selfish and like save my money because I'm not going to be working for like 30 days? Or do I go and get gifts, right? So I go and get gifts, but it was like I kept missing like some events. So Javier's mom had like a Christmas party. I didn't go because I was just like I was just like in a bad place. So one time, me and Javier were in the car, and he was trying to tell me something. And you know what? I literally lost it. When I say I lost it, I mean I lost it. Like, I started hitting like hitting the window and shaking and just crying, and it was just so weird. I'm like, what is going on with me? And at that very moment, I realized that I was facing terrible anxiety and I was depressed. So the days began to, go on. It's like the 24th, it's the 25th. Like at this time, I'm still not telling anybody that I lost my job because I was just so devastated. I was so devastated that I lost my job. So I wasn't telling anybody. And then I just remember being in my bed, laying there, not wanting to move, not wanting to wake up, not wanting to do anything productive, not wanting to look at my Bible, not wanting to go to church, not wanting to talk to my husband, not wanting to talk to my family. Like I was seriously in this mental state of depression. And I'm like, I've never been depressed. I don't even know how to get out of this. How do I get out of this? And I'm telling you this, guys, because I want to be transparent with you. By being a follower of Christ, it's not always going to be easy. It's not going to always be hard. But I'm telling you how I felt. In this moment, I was so mad at God. And I never, ever in my life felt the way that I felt. I was so upset with him. And I never even could say those words out loud. Like I never even thought of saying something like that, right? And I was just so upset with him because he gave me a job. He gave me a job just for me to lose the job in 3 months. And I was just so frustrated. And I remember going through that time of just feeling like no one could understand how I felt. Like I felt like I was incapable of doing anything. I felt like I was incompetent. I felt low, and I felt just so insecure, and it was just so many different emotions that I was encountering. And finally, I was like, I have to get myself out of this state. Like I'm not this person. I know where my help cometh from. I know who God is. I know who I serve. I know that he's real. And I was like, you know what? I got to get out of this state. So my church, so now it's like January 15th through the 18th or something like that. The third week in January, we do a 3-day consecration at church. And during that consecration, I remember specifically praying to God, praying to him every day, every night, every hour, just being real with him, telling him, like, I'm mad at you. Like, why did you do that? What is your logic? What do you have planned for me? Because I can't see it. I can't see it. The only thing that I can see is that I'm failing, and I'm 28 years old. And so I was just like over it. So I remember just specifically praying for this specific thing that I wanted, and that God knew that I wanted. And I just kept praying for it. Kept praying for it. So finally, after the consecration, things got better for me. I began to read my Bible more and more and more, and just like really, I was diving deep into the word. I was reading like so many plans, like how do you get out of depression? How do you trust God? How do you understand that God has something for you, but you just can't see it? I was talking to pastors and asking them to pray for me. I was talking to my mom, but I finally told her to pray for me and to help me out, because I did not want to do anything. And I was a contradiction because I was like, how can I say that God is so good and he's so worthy and he's all of these things, but I can't even pray? Like, I'm telling my followers, God is good. You know, he would do it. He's on his timing. And I couldn't believe it for myself. It was literally so scary. It was so scary. And I just felt like I was completely lost, guys. Like, I felt like I was in a deep depression. Like it was dark. Everything was dark. I kept questioning my existence. I kept on like wondering, like, why me? Why me? Why am I going through this? Why am I going through that? Why am I going through this? Why am I going through that? And this whole time, God is good. This whole time, he was working on my behalf and I didn't even know it. I got so caught up in the fact of not having a job, not being able to help my husband with bills, that I forgot who was in control. I forgot where my help really came from. I forgot who holds my future. No job holds my future. No one holds my future but God. And I had to realize that during my transition of my time of just silence, of just really trying to ask God, why? And he just began to reveal things to me over and over and over again. And now, it is now, March? And I am renewed. I feel like a different person. I now know that I can't question God because he knows what your heart desires. He knows what you want to do. He knows your plan. And he has everything aligned for you. But the thing is, we get so caught up in the moment. We get so caught up in our flesh that we think that we can do whatever we want to do. We can say what we want to say and we can just be upset, not knowing that God has this thing already figured out. He already has everything figured out. Everything. It was to the point where I was lying to my friends. Like, my friends would be like, oh, how was work today? Because they knew I was working like 10 to 12, 13-hour days. And I was like, oh, it was good. It was good. They're like, oh, can we do this? I'm like, oh, I can't do that. I got to go to work. Just putting on a whole front, guys. Like, literally putting on a whole front. Lying to my family and my friends because I was so ashamed and I was so embarrassed that I was separated from my company because I couldn't pass a test. What I've learned about this experience is that if it's not God's will, it won't be done. It won't be done. And the reason why I know that is because if I would have stayed at that job, I would not live out my dreams. I would not have been the Shatera Lene that I know that I can be and what I really have. Like, the desires I really have, they would have never come to pass because the money was excellent. I wasn't seeing my husband that often. I had to, some Sundays I couldn't go to church, or I stopped going to Bible study because my job was so demanding that I didn't get home until 8 or 9 o'clock. Well, 9 or 10 o'clock. And I was just working because the money was good. And I totally forgot about follower of Christ. I was like, I don't even want to do it anymore. And it was just all of this. But God knew what was best for me. He knew what was best for me. He knew what I needed. And I think that's what's so important. And I'm just letting you guys know right now that whatever situation you are facing, whatever situation you feel as if you cannot get away from, God is only doing it because he wants your attention and he wants the best for you. He wants you to be happy, and he wants you to live out this dream, and he wants you to trust him. He wants you to trust him and understand that he has this thing all figured out. We don't know. We do not know. And we just have to trust the process. So I will say today that I trust God wholeheartedly, And I'm just so grateful that he has given me another chance, and that he has allowed me to live the life that I want to live. It's such a blessing. It's such a blessing. And you know what? In all honesty, I would do it all over again. I would do it all over again just to get the victory that I have today. You know, this vlog was so hard for me because I just knew that I wasn't doing what God wanted me to do, right? And I was like, because I put this job before God. God is going to get your attention one way or the other. Point blank, period. And I'm just so glad that he got my attention, and that it wasn't too late, and that he did forgive me. And today I will say that I'm in awe. And I am going to let you know what I fasted for and what God has granted me with. Okay? He has given me the desires of my heart. Y'all don't hear me. He has given me the desires of my heart. But I couldn't see that when he took the job away. Because if I would have stayed there, I would have settled with that type of job, knowing that that's not what I wanted to do, knowing that that's not what I want to become. And it's just so amazing to know that if you just let God work without any interruptions, he will really give you what you want and what you need. And I'm just so grateful. And I hope that, during my testimony, you will be able to see, that everything, it may be bad for right now, but joy cometh in the morning. It does. And I am a living witness. My next vlog, I am going to show you what God has given me. And I'm so excited to show you guys, because it's only his doing. God is the only person who could have done this for me. And I'm just so grateful. And I'm just so blessed. And I'm just so excited. So thank you again, Bays, for liking and commenting and subscribing to my channel. Thank you for all of your love and your support. And I promise you, Follower of Christ is only going to go up from here. I promise, because God is amazing. And I'm ready for this next chapter in my life. I love you. I love you. Love you. Love you. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have anything that you want to discuss, let's discuss it. And I'm ready for the next chapter. Remember, my videos are live every Thursday. And next Thursday will be my reveal. I love you, bays. Talk to you later.